I'm LB with the Dartmouth Student Wellness Center. Welcome to our Day of Care yoga practice. In our practice today, we'll begin with a guided settling, a meditation, inviting some inner peace and care in. And then we'll move into some asana, some physical movements within our body to get hopefully a sense of deep release and letting go, which can be a radical act of caring for ourselves. As always, I really invite you to let this be a practice for yourself. So checking in with your needs for today, what your body needs, what your heart, your mind needs, and making any modifications as we move along in our practice. And then we'll end with a nice, sweet relaxation to round out our practice. Okay, so to begin, just invite you to find a comfortable seated posture. I like to rock side to side, maybe even move the extra flesh under my sitting bones away to really feel that groundedness of my sitting bones. And then rooting down with the foundation of my body, allowing your spine to get tall and even extend the crown of the head towards the sky. And then balancing all that extension up by re-rooting through the sitting bones. Perhaps you can soften the tops of your shoulders away from your ears, softening the muscles of your face if possible, letting the jaw drop down, letting the cheeks relax, letting the corners of your eyes soften. Maybe your eyes close, maybe you just take a soft downward gaze. But allowing yourself to fully arrive, to land. Just for now, setting aside to-do lists, worries, expectations, and really joining with this present moment by intentionally just paying attention to what's happening right now. Maybe you first notice sounds around you. The feeling of your body making contact with the earth. The touch of clothing on your skin. And then finally allowing your awareness to make contact with the rise and fall of your breath. Perhaps even allowing the breath to become a little bit more deeper, a little bit more fuller, a little slower and smoother. And as best as you can, just gently landing your awareness on the sensations of your breath, moving in and moving out. Taking a few moments here to just check in with ourselves as we continue breathing. As we slow down, you might notice the mind going 101 directions. It's okay. Just keep coming back to the breath as much as you can. You also might notice some strong emotions making themselves present. You don't need to push anything away. You don't need to look for anything. Just creating space for what is. And with this new awareness, perhaps asking yourself, what do you need? What do you need right now? What do you need in order to be present? And in order to open up to a sense of care for yourself? It might be letting go of self-defeating thoughts or perfection. It might be embracing a quality like patience or compassion. Whatever speaks to you in this moment, you just let a word or a phrase come to mind. And if you wish, I'll invite you to lift your hands up to heart center and press palm against palm, lifting your heart up towards your thumb. Maybe creating a little intention with that word or phrase if one came to you. Almost letting it sound like a wish for yourself. May I be patient. May I let go of perfection. May I be present. And if you wish, bowing that wise head to your compassionate heart, joining the two. Yoga is all about joining. And slowly releasing your hands down to your lap. Inhaling your chin back up so it's parallel to the ground. Opening your eyes if they're closed. Then from here, I'm going to invite everyone just to bring their hands onto the lower belly. And begin to breathe in a way that on the inhale, it feels like your hands are expanding out from your spine. On an exhale, the hands draw back in towards your spine. So really accentuating the breath in your belly. Inhale, expanding through the belly. Feeling the fingers spread apart from one another. And a long, slow, deep exhale, feeling the belly button draw back towards the spine. 2 more breaths just like that. Inhale. And exhale slowly. Inhale. And exhale slowly and release your hands. And if you can, staying with those deeper, smoother breathings in the belly. Your next inhale, pressing through the sitting bones, sweeping the arms up to the sky, taking your time, even lifting your gaze up, stopping at a point where it feels like your shoulders can still soften away from your ears, and then you're not constricting. 1 more breath here. Inhale, extending through the side body. And as you exhale, letting your right hand reach towards your left knee, and your left hand behind you. Inhale, pressing through the sitting bones, getting tall as you begin to turn towards your back shoulder. Breathing in, getting length through the spine. And exhale, drawing the belly button towards the spine as you twist around. And then inhale to unwind, coming back through center, lifting your arms, lifting your gaze. And as you exhale, coming towards the other side. Inhale, pressing through both sitting bones, lengthening through the spine. Exhale, beginning to turn towards your back shoulder. Breathing in to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Going just as far as feels okay for your body. That it's expansive rather than crunching. Taking 1 more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. Then inhale to sweep both hands up through center. Once again, taking your time, lifting your chin, lifting your gaze. And then exhale, dropping the head, reaching your fingertips behind you, placing your fingertips on the floor so that they're facing me or the screen. And we're just going to open the front of our body by pressing our knees towards the ground, lifting our hips, lifting our heart, opening our throat, feeling the shoulder blades come together on your back, taking a deep breath here, inhaling. And as you exhale, slowly softening the hips back towards the ground, lifting up the knees, uncrossing the ankles. And just lifting the heart up towards the knees. And as you exhale, curl around, but holding the weight of your body with your hands, dropping the head and creating a C-like curve with your spine. Feeling the shoulder blades stretch away from one another, on the back edge of your sitting bones, even on your sacrum slightly. And then from here, we're going to tilt on the front edge of our sitting bones and begin to arch ourselves forward. Knees come open slightly, chest comes between, elbows hug down, heart and throat open, chinless towards the sky. Exhale to round around, really letting Your hands support your weight. Inhale to sweep forward. Beginning to link your breath with your movement. Exhale to arch. One more time forward. Inhale, sweeping up. And exhale to a neutral spine. Heel toeing your inner edges of your feet together and opening your knees to the side. Drawing the big toe mounds towards one another. And letting your hands come on your shins, your ankles, and just beginning to draw your heart forward, elbows staying in. Maybe even place your elbows on your upper inner thighs. Just letting that be a reminder to draw the thighs down towards the ground. A nice tall spine. And if you wish, and if it feels like you can keep the space in your low back, option to come into a little bit more deeper of a forward fold, bringing the elbows to your shin bones now, pressing out through the elbows, forward with the head. But just noticing how deeply you can release and let go here, versus really kind of striving for a deeper fold or going somewhere that your back might not be ready for. So I'd rather you feel longer in the spine than actually fold deeper. Taking one more breath, inhale, and exhale. Then inhale to slowly rise up if you fold it forward, bringing your hands underneath your knees and slowly crossing the knees, or knees coming together, crossing the ankles. We're going to come over onto our hands and knees and coming into a tabletop position with your wrists underneath shoulders, knees underneath hips, and fingers spread out widely. And coming to that similar flexion we were just doing with our spine, coming into cat and cow. So as your arms hug towards one another, we're going to tilt our pelvis back, soften our belly, our heart between our upper arm bones, lift the chin, open our throat, sway the belly. As you exhale, like a wave-like motion, tilt the pelvis, arch the spine, drop the head completely, and then inhale to come forward into cow. Exhale to arch. Inhale, coming forward. Last time to arch, pressing the earth away with you. And then inhaling to that neutral spine, shoulders over wrists, hips over knees. And then from here, I'm going to invite everyone just to bring their knees out a little bit wider, big toes towards touching. And just let your hips begin to fall back towards your heels, creating a little pillow with your hands, either one hand on top of another, or you can stack fists on top of fists, creating a little perch for your forehead. And just allowing yourself to settle into child's pose. Feeling the hips get a little heavier. If this is cranky on your knees, it might feel nice to bring the knees a little bit closer and not go down as far. You might even tuck your toes under so that your heels can support your hips a little bit more and less pressure on the knees. But letting everything go heavy in the shoulders, the head. Feeling the breath of your belly against the tops of your legs. Taking one more breath here. Inhale. And exhale. And then from here, I'll invite you to help yourself up with your hands. Inhale to slowly press yourself up. And we're going to walk ourselves back towards our heels. And even let our toes be tucked under here, coming into toe crunch pose, which could be quite intense for many of us. So we're just going to let the weight of our body come onto our heels, let our hands soften on our lap, ears floating above shoulders, shoulders above hips, and even our feet can use some care. We don't give our feet a lot of care or attention, and this is a great way to stretch out all the little tendons and muscles and bones that our feet contain that do so much work for us. Well, just breathe through as best as you can, knowing you could rise up if it becomes too intense. And we'll be here just for 2 more breaths. Inhaling, just getting in tune with the sensation of your breath, even when there might be discomfort in other parts of our body. 1 more breath here, inhaling and exhaling. And then placing your hands out on the mat, we're going to begin to bring ourselves up to stand and walk our hands back to our feet, coming to our first forward fold, letting our feet heel toe out so that they're at least hip distance apart. Letting our head hang heavy, letting our knees be bent quite a lot. And just letting the upper body dangle over the hips. Maybe shaking your head, yes. Yes to self-care, yes to myself. Maybe shaking your head, no. No to what doesn't serve you, no to what might be a block for you in some way. And letting the shoulders be heavy. And then on your next inhale, slowly pressing through the feet, and inhale, reverse roll your spine all the way up to stand, rolling the shoulders up, back, and down, and coming into mountain pose. So bringing your feet underneath your hips and maybe even lifting and spreading your toes and paralleling off your feet and feeling all 4 corners of your feet equally hold your weight. So finding that sweet spot, maybe swaying back and forth, front and back, where you feel solid here. And as much as you're rooting down with your feet, softening the knees and letting that energy rebound back up the spine, lengthening through the spine, lengthening through the crown of the head. On your next inhale, sweeping the arms up towards the sky. Exhale, softening shoulders. And then inhale, pressing your hands towards the right, your left hip towards the left, creating a moon type shape with your body. And then softening the shoulders back into their sockets so there's still space between the bottoms of the ears, the tops of the shoulders. And then hugging your arms, not like they're collapsing, but it's like a big beach ball. There's engagement here. And feeling your torso lift out of your hips, but feeling space between each and every rib on the left side of your body. And then inhale, press through the feet, rise up. Exhale to soften. Inhale, drawing your pelvis forward, lifting your heart up towards the sky. Just a really gentle, mini little heart opener, little back bend of the upper back. And then inhale back through center. Exhale to soften. And then inhale, fingertips towards the left. Right hip towards the right side. Feeling space to grow between each and every rib on the right side of your body. Engagement in the arms, neck is soft, shoulders are relaxed. Taking 1 more breath, inhale. And exhale. And inhale to slowly come back up to center. And exhale, let your arms rest by your side. And then from here, I'm going to invite everyone to begin to place their weight into their left foot. And then just stage 1 to draw your right knee up and hugging your right knee with your right hand. And for here, just beginning to see if you can find some balance, some steadiness on 1 foot. Might be helpful to find a drishti, 1 point for your gaze. Some like to look at the horizon, some like to look at the floor far in front of them. Just letting that be a steady place for your gaze, your mind to steady, so that your body might be able to find some steadiness. Breathing in and breathing out. And then from here, I'll invite you to release your right hand onto your hip, kick the right foot out, and then step very boldly into the middle of your mat. Nice. And then with your back left foot, we're going to press in through our right foot, draw our left foot up, our left knee hip level, coming to the other side. If you can, grabbing your left knee with your left hand. If you need to hold your thigh or just kind of let your leg float out there, that's okay too. But wherever you are, rooting down with the inner edge of that right standing leg, softening shoulders, deepening breath, and knowing that you can modify. You can touch down when you need to, you can lose balance and have a little sense of playfulness here. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I invite you to completely let go of perfection. It's not about that. It's about connecting with your breath, with this moment, letting your body teach you. And then finally releasing that left hand and kicking out through that left foot, nice, and then stepping boldly to the front of the mat, letting your right foot follow, meeting in mountain pose, now at the front of your mat. And pressing through the feet, inhale, sweep the arms up to the sky. And exhale, soften the knees as you swan dive forward. Dropping the head, softening the knees. From in here, inhale, sweeping up halfway. And exhale to fold. Pressing through the feet, inhale, reverse swan dive all the way back up to stand, fingers overhead. And exhale, folding hand through prayer center. This time coming to a forward fold. And maybe here, just playing with pedaling your knees back and forth and feeling some wake up in the hamstrings, some stretch, some sensation. It might be intense. And finding that place for you that you can find some stillness, letting the crown of the head heavy. And then invite everyone to interlace their hands behind the crown of the head and opening your elbows like you're about to do sit-ups and just letting the weight of your hands help guide the torso into this deep release of a forward fold. Again, not striving here, but just seeing where you can have that deep release and let go. One more breath, inhale. And exhale. I invite you to release your hands back down and inhale, sweep up halfway. Exhaling, hands to your hips. And then inhale all the way back up to mountain pose. And then from the front of your mat, I invite everyone to step their left foot back. Not as long as a stance for, say, warrior 2 or warrior 1, but we're going to set up for pyramid. So not your longest stance, but long enough so you have some space. And then from here, I'm going to invite everyone to bring their hands to their hips and draw the hips so they're square-ish to the front of the mat. And then let the back heel really be the anchor, the foundation for this shape. Really pressing through that back heel and then pressing through the inner edge of your front foot. So front toes are pointing forward, back toes are pointing towards the front corner, the front left corner of your mat. This might be all you need right now. This takes balance and steadiness. If you want to come into the forward fold version, keeping the squareness in your hips and your shoulders, just beginning to fold forward. Really letting that right hip draw back, left hip forward. Hands can stay on hips, or they might come to the shin, or blocks, or for some of us, the floor. Again, not needing to get anywhere, really taking the time to listen to your body, to reflect, what do I need right now? I need to come up higher, I need to go a little lower. Honoring what you can learn from your body. Taking one more breath, inhale, and exhale. And then where you are, slowly coming up using the power of your leg. Then heel toeing your front foot and your back foot so they're now parallel with one another. And then you might even widen your stance a little bit here by heel toeing the feet out, paralleling off the edges of your feet with one another with the edges of the mat, even dovetailing the toes slightly in. And then from here, coming into another forward fold, we're going to just begin to hinge at the hips, letting the elbows hug towards one another. And then from here, letting the fingers find the floor. And maybe walking the hands back so they're between your feet. And then really, almost like you're stretching the mat away from each other with your feet. So pressing through the outer edges of your feet, widening the sitting bones. Noticing if the weight's coming more into your heels and shifting the weight slightly forward, letting the weight come a little bit more into your toes actually, to the balls of your feet. Taking one more breath, inhale and exhale. And as you're ready, inhale, slowly coming up just halfway first. And then exhaling your hands to your hips, and as you're ready, inhaling all the way back up to stand. And then we're just going to pivot on our back foot now, drawing those toes towards the back of the mat, walking our back foot in slightly and turning our back toes now to the upper right hand corner of the mat, setting up for pyramid on this side. So drawing that right hip forward, left hip back, squaring our shoulders, our hips to the front of the mat, rooting down with a back heel and the inner edge of our front foot, letting that strong foundation, the floor, help us find the steadiness, the foundation. And then from here, keeping that squareness of the hips, of the chest, maybe you come slightly forward. Maybe it's different from the first side. So just exploring what you need in this moment. Getting curious. Each moment might be a little different. Letting the breath really help evolve the shape in this moment for you. The slower, the deeper we breathe, you might be able to release and soften even more. Find some space and find some ease. Taking one more breath, inhale. And exhale. Then inhale, rooting down with your feet to rise up. Paralleling off your feet once again to the long edge of your mat. Maybe you heel toe them out slightly wider. And then this time, if you'd like, you could bring your hands in Yoga Mudra at the sacrum of your spine. Or if this feels too much for your shoulders, just keeping at your hips is totally fine. And from here, drawing the shoulders up and back, hugging the elbows towards one another as you begin to re-enter this forward fold, dropping the head. And maybe lifting your hands up and over, reaching the crown of the head towards the ground as the heels are stretching away from one another. Weight is coming more into the balls of your feet, your toes. And anytime you're feeling tension in the neck, shaking the head yes and no, back and forth. Breathing in and breathing out. And then letting your hands come back to your sacrum if they lifted. Releasing that grip and placing your hands between your feet. Inhale, sweeping up halfway. Exhale, hands to hips. And then as you're ready, slowly rising up. And pivoting your front foot back towards the front of the mat. Stepping forward into mountain pose. And just letting yourself come into stillness for a moment here. And then with perhaps a sense of more spaciousness, I invite us to make our way back to the ground into a seated position. And then from here, extending your right leg out, left leg in. And then just squaring your chest over that extended leg, drawing the right hip down as much as the left. And then centering your heart over that extended leg and just coming to a really gentle fold. And so not going for getting close to your leg, but getting longer in the spine, feeling space from the left hip and the lower back, letting your shoulders draw back. And inhale to rise up. And we're going to place our hands behind us once again. And we're going to draw our right foot over our left. And then from here, just begin to press the body open, getting a release in the hips, the heart, and slowly lower down. And then crossing the right ankle over the left knee, and then just hugging that right knee in, taking that knee with your left arm. Just a real gentle twist here, twisting towards the right. Breathing in length, and breathing out to soften. And inhale, coming back through center, uncrossing your legs, and then placing left leg out, right leg in, and just squaring off the chest over that extended leg. And so we're already in a forward fold here, so you might not get much forward movement. That's completely okay. Again, the focus is really drawing the back of that leg down as you extend through the spine. And then just soften the heart. The heart's leading the way towards beyond your knee. Breathing in and breathing out. And then inhale to rise up, bringing your hands behind you once again, crossing that left ankle with that right foot, and opening your hips or pelvis the other side. And slowly lowering down, traveling the right ankle behind your left hip, left knee over, hugging the left knee. Last final little twist here towards the left. Rooting down equally with both sitting bones. Breathing in length. Exhaling to soften and to twist. And letting yourself come back through center. Uncrossing the legs. Placing your feet down on the ground. And then helping yourself slowly onto your backs. Hugging your knees in and be rocking around in your sacrum a few times. And extending the right leg out, left knee in. And drawing both legs in and extending the left leg out, right leg in. Hugging both knees in, and slowly letting your feet come to the ground, letting your palms open by your side if that would feel okay. Other option is to bring one hand on the heart, one hand on the belly. You can tick-tock your feet out and let your knees knock in if that would feel nice on your lower back, and stay here for our relaxation. You're also welcome to extend your legs out long. So whatever the body needs, whatever would be most caring, to really let yourself completely let be here, to let be in to the efforts that you just put forth of being present, of moving and stretching within your body, of listening, of breathing. Now it's time just to let go completely and fully, as best as you can. Feeling the muscles of your body now being supported by the earth beneath you. Letting the eyes close if that would be comfortable. And releasing any and all effort that you possibly can right now. And if you have the time, I'm going to invite you to stay here for as long as you do have the time for, to really let the practice sink in, to give your body rest, your mind rest. But knowing if you need to move on to the next thing, that even these moments, a minute, 2 minutes that we can unplug, are hugely beneficial. So whether you can stay in rest, or if you need to start transitioning out, if so, just making your way up to a comfortable seated position. And seeing if you could thank yourself for creating this space and this time in order to take care. And that in order for us to sustain, moments like this are necessary and important. So from my heart to yours, I thank you and send you great care. Namaste.